once again, good afternoon to all of you. We do apologize for the attack of the gremlins this afternoon. Just one thing after the other. Fortunately, we have a very relaxed, very close jackal to try and make up for it. My name is Jamie, and this afternoon, Craig is on camera with me. And as you may have gathered, it was a little bit of a damp start to our sunset safari. I'm soaked, the jackal's soaked. Craig is actually relatively dry back there. The rest of us are fairly... The roof and the rain cover is beautifully designed, of course, to redirect all water onto the driver, on the basis that the driver is waterproof where the equipment is not. So, for whoever asked the question about whether or not this is live, well, if you needed any further proof than the start of this afternoon safari, well, I'm afraid I cannot offer any further proof than that. There we have a black-backed jackal, which is a lovely sight to see in South Africa. The reason being that when was it? It was about 3 years ago, there was a massive outbreak of rabies. Got a little wound there on its leg. Definitely doesn't look very comfortable around that area. There's a massive outbreak of rabies, which unfortunately killed off a large portion of the jackal population. We've always had a pair of them around this area, right up at the sort of sandy patch, firebreak patch. Never 100% sure if it's the same ones that live at the southern portion of Sandy Patch Road. I'm really not 100% convinced, but we've seen them every now and again. It's been a long time since I've seen them personally. And now we have one sitting beautifully relaxed, curled up against a guarri bush. Now that fortunately the rain appears to have let up. It wasn't particularly hard rain. It was just a sort of a soaking drizzle. It did the job well enough and then departed. Hopefully that means I can very soon remove the voluminous poncho that I'm currently donning. On the basis I figured it would be quite bad for our TV show if I got hypothermia. Lily says that she just wants to give him or her a blanket. I know it looks as though it could use a jolly good doggy blanket, maybe just a towel dry. I imagine if it makes you feel any better that the jackal would probably look at you and sprint off into the bushes with confusion. Life of luxury is not something that they know, but I do completely understand what you mean. It looks thoroughly damp and miserable, doesn't it? Soaking wet fur. Unfortunately for the wild animals out here, there's no shelter to go to. There's not much they can do when it rains except, well, be in the rain, essentially. Afterwards, give themselves a jolly good cleaning, which is exactly what this jackal's doing. He's doing a magic impression of a yoga pose, actually. Oh. It's curling up, tucking nose underneath its thigh. Wonderful. I'm going to sit here for just a little bit longer so you can think of some questions if you have questions on jackal. So while you do that thinking, off you go to David, who is out and about in the Mara.
Hello everyone, and number one, lots of apologies for all the gremlins we have been having the last few minutes, but all seems to be good. And how nice to see jackals with Jamie. I mean, jackals are very small compared to my huge big elephants that I got. Now, I'm sure most of you know me, and for those who may not have seen me before, my name is David, and that has not changed. And with me on camera today is Bungay. Bungay, good afternoon, sir. Very excited to have you on board today. Welcome to the Mara Triangle. I'm sure you met Isaac before, and we're going to promise a wonderful game today. That's one of my favorite birds. And Bungay has been doing wonderful things. He knows the things I like or the animals I love. And number one, for the big mammals, elephants. For the birds, he knows I love the lilac-breasted roller. I really want to thank you, Bungay, because also this morning, Bungay caught me off guard by showing me a lilac-breasted roller that I could not see. What I was seeing was a buffalo right behind it. Well, a warm afternoon, I'm sure, as Isaac told you here, and that is justified by the movement of the ears of those ellis, the African elephants. And remember, as much as all my colleagues have told you, Your comments, questions are always more than welcome, and that keeps us going. See that small little calf following the mother very closely, and I got a feeling they're heading to that little bush there because it's pretty warm to be out in the open, and once they get there, they'll enjoy both a feed and some nice shade, because that's a good cover on those big trees that you see in front there. It's always good. I remember when, in my village, as much as the thermometers did not come until the other day, we used to have a rough idea of how warm it would be by looking at elephants at a distance. And you would say the more they would flap, you would guess the more warm or hotter it is. Now, this is my friend, the lilac-breasted roller. My favorite bird, as I said earlier. And I've always said it's the most celebrated bird in Africa, the national bird of Kenya, and also the national bird of maybe a few other countries. The one that I know for a fact is Botswana. And having her opening her mouth, again, my guess is because of how warm it is. Either she's trying to, cool off. We have seen sometimes some animals like crocodiles opening their mouth when it's pretty warm. And she has no reason, I have no other reason that I can guess, apart from just, cooling off by opening her mouth. Well, lilac-breasted roller, very good position you are. And I would suggest possibly you go look for some shade. But if you need to be there to get some food, why not? You see how she's opening her mouth? My guess again is because it's pretty warm afternoon here in the Mara. And James is enjoying some primates on top of a tree.
So what we have here is the same troop of baboons. Yes, they are in the shade by virtue of the fact that it's so cloudy and there is no sun. But what we have there is the baboons sitting in a brown ivory tree that is in full fruit. And they are having a delicious, delicious meal. Look at them. They couldn't be happier. I don't know why, but the rest of the troop sort of wandered off towards the left. I don't know what on earth they're going to eat that could be better than brown ivory fruits. Got that one there. Seems to be the youngsters left behind. The sort of gangsters, if you like. It's always the ones that lurk on the fringes that are young males and young females, like a sort of gang of unruly teenagers. Just like you were, David. David is on camera, everybody. He was an unruly teenager at one stage, about 3 years ago. And what they do, of course, these baboons, not the unruly teenagers of which Dave was one, is that they get to these trees before they are the fruit is completely ripe. And so if you and I were to try and eat what that baboon's eating, we'd spit them out and reject them as being either too hard or too sour, and probably definitely too tart. But the baboons don't mind that. Fruits on it, because the baboons have almost always eaten them clean. That said, it does seem to be going for the yellowest ones. There's some very orange ones there. It's been quite selective. It's not just eating any old fruit. It cannot be the most comfortable way to sit and eat. It is hilarious, though. If you look, Dave, just go to the one on top now. It keeps looking at us and saying, "What do you want?" I could watch these things all day long. There's a big chap. Look at him. He's having a go at the little one. I suspect that the big one is one of the dominants, or he's certainly a big, he's an adult, and the other one is a sub-adult, and they're probably both male, which means that the youngster best just stay out the way. because if that big fella gets a hold of him. You'll probably also find that the big fella at the back there is low down in the baboon troop hierarchy, which is why he's not with the rest of the troop, why he's hanging with the kids at the back. And what he'll do is take his frustrations at being a lowly ranked member of the troop out on the rest of the troop. Alrighty, I believe there are some more issues with the Juma feed. I do apologize for that. Let's go back across to Isaac, who has got some lions in the Mara.
Yes, I have found the sausages. If you haven't joined us before, this pride is very close to us and very close to our hearts. It's called the Sausage Tree Pride. Sorry for the genies that are getting into our equipment. Sorry for the hitches, but we're back and we're alive. This is SafariLive. This is one of the Oldonyo Paek big males. You can tell he's been feeding very, very, very well. It is a fine specimen. He's so fat. I'm glad he doesn't understand English, otherwise I would lose my jaw. He is so big, he's so healthy, and he is alive and kicking. He is the dominant male together with his brother, who is, I think, somewhere in the long grass. That is another female, and I think it is Kinky Tail. When I arrived here, she's the one that gave away everybody else. She was walking in the long grass, and I don't know why. She is the most experienced. I don't know why she's doing out there in the open, in the hot sun like this. She's the most experienced. She should be somewhere. There is another one there. You can see it slightly. It's breathing heavily. I don't know which one it is. It could be one of her daughters. So we are actually surrounded by the Sausage Tree Pride. In case you don't know, yesterday evening they managed to bring down a fully grown buffalo, and looks like the males joined in later in the night, and everybody looks to be here. I haven't seen everybody. They seem to be very hot, and so they are lazing around and they are lying around in the long grass. So I haven't actually accounted for everybody, but easily I can say there is about 6 members here, which means the rest are all here. I don't know if Kinky Tail went back to the den where she's given birth. In case you don't know about her story, is that she is the mother of the 4 females, plus her there are 5 females. She gave birth about maybe a week ago, and we haven't seen the new cubs. The first time, since last time I saw her was yesterday, and they made the kill. Then she's here, and I think maybe she didn't go see the cubs. It is normal for lionesses when they feel comfortable to leave cubs for up to about 24 hours, then going back to give them a bit more milk. And I think right now maybe she's gaining some energy, gathering some energy so that she can go to where they are and maybe spend the whole night giving them the milk that they need. I don't know how many they are, and I would give all of you some homework, which is, how many do you think there will be? How many? I think there will be 3. Let's see how many gets it correct at the end of the next few coming weeks. Either David, who's going to be coming here, he's my mate, and also I'll be coming here. Please keep us updated on how many you think there are, and I'll tell you once I see them. We'll get you back to this girl. She's rather sleepy. Hopefully she can turn around and I can tell you which one she is. Sometimes it's the only way, or the only easy way to identify lions is to look at the mammary glands. Gemma, you asked me how long I think the carcass is going to last, and also how long they feed on it. Well, as long as it's still fresh, as long as there's still meat, they'll stay on it as much as possible. What I think is happening here is that it got too hot in the day, and so they are seeking refuge under the shade here, and that's why they're here. They're going to go back, but definitely they have left a guard there, because I can see the vultures on top of trees, which means they haven't fed. So there is somebody watching the carcass. Shortly, we will take you there, and when we come back, maybe I will show you where it is. If you zoom in there, you will see the vultures. They're all in the trees, and they're all waiting for whoever is watching the carcass to go. Then they will come down. So it means there is still plenty of meat. Yeah, while I'm observing these guys, I'll send you to David, who's got another lovely bird right here in the Mara.
Excellent, Isaac. Hopefully your lions will be doing more, or show more activity, or being more active. And from vultures now, we come to a totally different bird, because sometimes we group vultures as predators, very high on the food chain, but now we got a very special stock. But the first thing I pick from this stock, she got her mouth open. Did you hear me? And a couple of minutes ago, we had my favorite bird, the lilac-breasted roller, with a mouth open. And that justifies how warm it is in the Mara Triangle today. Are you right, Bungay? Yeah, Bungay had a cough. I think he's saying he needs some more rain. Maybe it'll help cool off. And this is a sandal-billed stock. Of the stocks family, I guess this is one of the most beautiful stocks, because of all the colors that you can possibly see in such a bird. I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 different colors, maybe 5. What do you think of that? Well, they or she's a wader, always found in water or wet areas, swamps, little springs, by the side of rivers, but more so on water that is not moving, standstill water. I think because of the heat of the day, she's trying to realign her feathers. And from a distance, pretty tricky to tell males from females, but we have learned if you get closer to them, you'll notice that males got like brown eyes, well done, Bungay, while the females got yellow eyes. Let's see if she's going to turn. Very rarely to see them in twos, you always see them in ones, unlike certain birds that are monogamous. Turn around, would want to know what sex you are. As I said, if she got yellow eyes, which maybe is pretty close to what I'm thinking, then it will be a female. And anything brown, it will be a male. And then males have little, like waters, yellows hanging down at the base of the head. Hello there. Yeah, I think this is all yellow. And if yellow, yeah, I would guess is a girl. And it's one of the tallest stocks we got around in Africa. Definitely, she's looking for some crustaceans where she is. And stocks in general are very patient birds, very patient. They are never in a rush to hunt or to look for food. So they always wait very patiently until something moves, be it a fish, a worm of some sort. Perfect light. I don't know whether it would be where she is because of the heat of the day. Yes, it's true. I mean, I wouldn't know whether this stock might have delivered the cubs with Isaac of the Sausage Tree Pride. And I think having done so well, and because she would say she delivered 4 cubs with Isaac, then she definitely needs some rest. She definitely needs some rest. And because you can see how wide she is opening her beak, and that's a clear indication of the warmth. And because of the patience, when they go hunting, they always wait for any movement in the water. Sometimes they may use their feet to feel anything under them. If anything would move, they would definitely feel a movement, and very quickly you see how long beak they got, and just drive it right inside and grab whatever it is. Hello there, stock. It's pretty warm for you, eh? and you can notice she doesn't have any competition where she is all alone, and most likely she'll be enjoying any food that could be available there. Well, she's going to stay right there. I don't see her moving, and my stock remains on the ground. But I think James Henry has birds that like staying on top of trees, like the monkeys he had earlier.
Now we have got a bird. That bird is an eagly, and that eagly is a Wahlberg's eagly. Now, a pale form Wahlberg's it is. Whether or not this is the pale form from the north, I don't know. They were sitting on the nest before I went on leave. They're not there anymore. Or it could be part of the couple that lives on Twin Dams Road, which is not far from here. They are lovely eagles, these. Pretty, or quite small compared with many of the others, but they've just got a lovely vibe about them, because I think they represent two things for me. Anyway, they may not represent this for you. They represent summer for me, because they arrive as one of the first arrivals in August to tell us that spring is on the way. And they also have this kind of mostly monogamous pair bond where they come back home every year. And what they do, I don't know what they do when they're away, if they philander about the place, but I like the fact that they come back to the same nest every year. There's something very comforting about that, I find. Many of you might think I'm talking utter nonsense, but I mean, you probably think that most of the time. A very atmospheric shot there, David. It's a pity about that little bit of gunk in the sort of top left-hand corner. Yeah, that. I suppose it is relatively atmospheric, yes. And you'll see that the feathers are very ruffled, and that's because the bird, the Wahlberg's eagle, is rather wet. Why is it wet, you might ask yourself? Well, it is wet because it has been raining. It has not taken a bath, nor has it had a shower. I will say that we almost didn't have a shower before drive today, everybody, because the water went down in the camp, but you'll be pleased to know that I did have a shower, other than well, you'll be very pleased to know that you won't be smelling me throughout the drive. David smells like butterscotch and lemons. I don't know where I came up with that from. All right, I don't think I can tell you anything more about that Wahlberg's eagle. I've told you everything else. They eat lizards, by the way. They are big lizard fans. They'll eat just about anything, but lizards they like. Walk a dog. Emma, is that you trying to put on a German accent, or is this really somebody called Walk a dog? Is it walk a dog, or have you just made it walk a dog? Bulk a dog. Bulk a dog. B-U-L-K a dog. It's a very odd name. All right, bulk. Oh, B what? B-A-L-K-A. Balka dog. Balka dog. Right, whatever. Balka dog, hello. Your question, is this the eagle that changes partners? Well, no, not normally. Normally they don't. But there was great upheaval in the pale... Excuse me. Yeah, I'm okay. Thanks, Dave. Great upheaval in the pale form pair that lives quite close to our camp this year. They normally arrive back every year. The two of them set up in their nest, lay an eggie. Sometimes the eggie becomes an eagly. Other times dies before that happens. But this year, Mrs. Wahlberg arrived back with a new mister. A juvenile, no less. Dark form warbird. And then we thought we saw the old Mr. arrive, but it might not have been him. And so, well, either she divorced the old fellow and moved on to a younger model, or the old boy died somewhere on the migration or up in sort of south of the Sahel during the course of the Northern Hemisphere summer. So yes, normally bulker dog, they do stay together. We are now going to go to Chitwa, where, as I say, I did hear rumours of Guchava on a kill. So we'll try that. Now, Isaac is still sitting in the Masai Mara. Where else would he be unless he was trespassing into the Serengeti? And he's with the sausages.
I have left the comfort of the sleeping lions, and now I'm hit with the reality of the truth. This is the circle of life. We saw this guy breathing and alive yesterday afternoon, and this is all that is left of him. I'm sure there is a lion somewhere here in the long grass that I haven't picked up yet, because there is nobody feeding on him, and there is still plenty of meat in the neck, the head, the chest, the legs. They're all still very intact. I'm sure there is a lion somewhere here, because the sanitary crew are all packed in the best parking that they have, all waiting for their chance to come for a nibble. This is the most common vulture, the African white-backed vulture, our commonest vulture, and it's also one of the most endangered bird vulture in Africa. They are all packed in those trees, telling me that definitely there is a predator on the lookout, taking care of this carcass. Lions will protect the carcass until they're sure they have utilized everything. Over there we have two different types of vultures. The one to the right is the Ruppel's griffon, and the two to the left are African white-backed. These are two of our most common vultures in the Masai Mara. That is another African white-backed vulture. The backdrop back there is the Olololo Syria escarpment. These guys don't actually nest here. They fly all the way from the western corridor of the Serengeti in the Gold Mountains, and they fly all the way here, which is around 200 kilometers every morning, and going back in the evening to nest there. We have a few that actually nest here, but not very many. All this we see here are here because of this carcass. Yes, that is the beautiful backdrop of the Masai Mara plains. The reason I'm saying that, there is still plenty of meat, it's because I'm here. Is it perfect? You ask me if there is any hyenas. I haven't seen any so far. And it does tell me that maybe they got a beating. Maybe they came and got chased away. Because, sorry, it's Kalsek. Yes, I think they got chased away by the lions. The lions are very protective of the carcass if they think, there is still some meat. It is starting to smell a little bit. That's why I'm parked quite a distance. All those white spots, it means every now and then there was a lucky vulture that came and had a quick bite, a very tense, quick bite, and then got away. And those were the droppings that they left. It does tell me that maybe it is one of the big males that's taking care of this carcass, because I counted and I could account for all the 5 females of the sausage tree pride. And so it tells me that maybe it is a male. I'll try and drive around here, and hopefully I can pick him up, and then I'll go back to the females, because the smell, it's rather smelly. And And while I do that, I'll send you all the way to Juma in Greater Kruger, where Jamie has got something nice to show you.
Oh, the joys of rotten meat on hot days. It certainly carries an indelicate whiff to it. We fortunately are able to counteract the tales of horrendous smells with a very delicate antelope standing on top of a termite mound. And so far, she has been the most obliging kudu that we've ever had the joy of filming. Because most of the time, being an antelope that prefers dense vegetation, when we stop for kudu, they're there for brief periods, and then they wander off into the thickets. They don't exactly run, but they just prefer to be somewhere where they're a bit more hidden. So she's posing really, really well for us on the top of this termite mound, doing exactly what topi do as well, which is using it to stare out across the open area and listening to the various sounds of the bush. It's been a scary few days for the various antelope out here. Particularly, I think, for these kudu, because I think the lions were around this area, not yesterday, but the night before last. And hunting in this windy, rainy weather. There were kudu tracks absolutely everywhere. And you can see her staring out, ruminating. Tristan and I were talking, we think that Hosanna caught a kudu yesterday in that block. That's where all of his vultures were. And we think that he probably lost it to the hyenas. We couldn't quite figure it out, though. It was all just guesswork and supposition. Emma thinks that perhaps that's the reason why this kudu is so still. She is having an existential crisis after the death of one of her herd members, presumably. No, I think she's just ruminating. I'm not sure kudu have existential crises. What is the plural of crisis? Crises. 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 Both. We'll go with both. What is grass? What is life? Why are my ears so big? Why couldn't I be born a lion or a leopard? I'm not sure what sort of existential crisis a kudu would have. She looks like she might be pregnant. There's definitely a little bulge to her belly. Tristan, I think, has seen one tiny baby kudu. I haven't yet. And it's one of those things that I quite look forward to. I really look forward to, actually, at this time of year. Little baby kudu with their long limbs and absurdly large ears. Because she's so damp, it looks like those white stripes have washed down her sides. Right, we really do have to focus on finding something. I'm not sure what the something is. I'm hoping it's a hyena den. Meanwhile, off to Lauren and the romancing hippo, presumably of Buffelshoek Dam.
I have indeed found something, and it is almost becoming a guarantee these days. There's no point in driving past Buffelshoek Dam if you're not going to say hello to Scuba Steve and Snorkel Sarah. So both Seb and I were just talking about how it would be really lovely to come by and see them doing something other than, well, what exactly they are doing right now. So we did get a yawn or two from Sarah, who we believe to be the one on the right-hand side. If you actually look at them closely, there is quite a size difference between the two of them, especially within the head. So the males are always much bigger than the females. So Scuba Steve is on the left and Snorkel Sarah is on the right. And she did sort of get out, and I think she gave us about 3 yawns. But of course, the minute we go live, she decides to turn her back, actually, and completely face the other way. So I wonder if they do much with their lives, because it appears to me that they are the version of, well, the hippo version of the couch potatoes. They really do not do anything other than chill in the middle of Buffelshoek Dam. Now, when you go out in the morning, the sunrise safari, you see hippo tracks everywhere around here. Everywhere. So obviously at night time, they do wander, they do explore. But during the day, they just chill. I wonder what you could call the couch potato version for a hippo. Be interesting to hear some ideas on that one. Nina's saying she's camera shy. Yes. Oh no, we're getting a wee side eye there. Oh, that was a little flirtatious side eye. But yes, I do believe she is camera shy. She's probably not too happy that we're here and interrupting their nap time, their afternoon nap. So we just thought we would say hello to them because there's absolutely no point in just driving on by and not checking up on two of our lovely characters we have here. Oh, are you going to give us a yawn, Steve? Nope, obviously not. And of course, the minute you leave... Oh, is Steve standing up? And going back down again. So that's the most we've seen him do. So you can see they actually can stand on the bottom here. That's some standing. So when you see them sort of just looking like they're completely submerged, they're obviously just laying flat on the bottom, or they've maybe got their legs bent. So that is them fully standing up in the water, not completely submerged. And of course their Latin name is Hippopotamus amphibius. And amphibian meaning two life phases, so they do require the land and the water. But encountering a hippo on land would be a completely different experience to encountering one sitting in the water. Oh, oh, oh! Yay! Seb says thank you, Sarah. You gave us exactly what we were hoping for. A wonderful look inside your huge mouth. Now, that was probably most likely a big yawn. Hippos do sort of do that as a territorial display, but I don't believe that act was very territorial. That's maybe just either a yawn or telling us, please go away now, you're talking too much. But what a mouth that was, and you could see those huge, not very clean teeth inside the mouth. So we will leave these hippos and let them go about their busy daily life, but for now we're going to send you up to David in the Mara.
Well done, Lauren. And incidentally, I'm also very close to some water body that we call the Mara River. We're very close to the famous Mara River, and this is where all the migration or most of the wildebeest will always cross, either when they come into this side of the Mara. Mara is divided into two. We have what we call the Mara Triangle and the main Mara. We are always based in the Mara Triangle, and what you see is the very famous Mara River. And many times you come to any water body in Africa, chances are you'll always see something moving or something drinking. As we say, water is life, and maybe Bungay might have spotted maybe a crocodile there, and yes, it's a crocodile rock, Bungay. Okay, it looks like one. And very quiet there, but I'm sure Bungay, if you go to the left there could be one that can only see the back. Sorry to make you move on such tight angle, but I've always known you are capable of getting anything. There's a negret right there, and if you go further to the left, there's one croc there. If you go further left, and if you're seeing a little bit, keep going. Yes, that was very sneaky, and it lied to me, and that's what we call rock-looking animal. That's what I like call them, RLA. And there's one croc there, sitting quite a difficult angle for you, but well done, Bungay. I've always trusted you. You can always get anything for me and for the viewers. And that's a crocodile there. That's what we call the Nile crocodile. And right underwater there. So in that position, that's how the chance or the wait for any animals that will be crossing and not necessarily the wildebeest, because most of the wildebeest are gone now back to Tanzania. I'm talking about the Serengeti National Park, and I think all the calving or the dropping of the young ones is done. But once they're gone, we'll still have other animals that will come for a drink. I'm talking of impalas or Thompson gazelles, or, you know, a few zebras will remain around. And if you look at that croc, just like the sneaky one that we saw earlier, the rocks and the crocodiles almost look the same in the water. And these animals, when they come for a drink, they never tell the difference between the two. And crocodiles have been known to hide in the water or stay in the water with their eyes open, and they can see what is happening in the outside world. There's a stock there, very different from the one we saw before, and this is called the yellow-billed stock. They have a commonality. Always you find them in places with water. But what she's doing is she's got a little different feeding habit with the sandal-billed stock that we saw before. So she moves very slowly because on her feet she got like sensors or feelers, and that's what she'll use to sense any prey or any food under the water. And you can see the reflection of herself in the water, and also using her beak to disturb the soil or the base of the river. And that way anything moves, she'll either very quickly spear it with her beak or just grab it depending on the situation. This is so cool. I agree with you, M, in the final control. M says it's pretty cool. And above all, I'm looking at her reflection. Control, you'd like to know whether you go to the river at night. No, we don't, because it's very difficult to see anything. And anything we'd see in the river would be like, say, hippos, like now. And come at night, they'll definitely come out to go and feed. Hippos will remain in the water the better part of the day, and anything 6, 7 o'clock, out they go feeding. But should we come, we'll always come and chance, say, on crocs, because definitely the crocs will not leave the water. We have seen once in a while crocs on the base, or on the bank rather, of the river, because it's pretty cool, because, you know, being reptiles, they are cold-blooded, and they might try and capture the last heat or warmth of the day. Hello there. So that one is just going to rest there. So we're going to move on, and I was chancing to see if we could get anything crossing the river, and the water level to me looks quite low, and the rains when they stopped, because where this river starts, or the source of this river, is an area that we call the Mau Forest. So it's not raining anymore, so the water levels in the river have gone quite low. I think Isaac is doing better than me because he got his lions. He hasn't left them yet.
It got too smelly for me, and I just had a very good lunch. I didn't want to lose it, so I decided to leave the buffalo and whoever is looking after it, and decided to come down to where all these girls are waiting for the temperatures to drop so that they can go back and finish off what is left in that carcass of the buffalo. This is one of the Oldonyo Payek males. He hasn't moved. All we know, he is alive, but he hasn't, risen his head. He hasn't risen his leg or anything. All I can see is that panting, and actually quite, profusely, because he is very hot from, trying to digest whatever he ate, which is the buffalo, and at the same time trying to lose excess heat. Lions lack sweat glands on their skins, so all excess heat is lost through the mouth. A brief history about this beautiful pride of lions is that they have 5 females, 2 males, 3, actually 5 months old cubs, and about 4 weeks old cubs. In total, at the moment, they are about 14, and they are going to get more because there is 2 females that we think Kinky Tail has given birth. We haven't seen the cubs. And then there's another one that quite soon she's going to be giving birth. So the pride is going to be very big. And because they depend on buffalo to as as their livelihood here, I think they're going to get better at that, because the buffaloes are becoming less and less. And actually they have eliminated almost all the weak ones. And the ones I've seen today are actually quite healthy. The one yesterday, I would say, he was big. He was a bit old. But it took about 5 hours for them to bring him down. So I wonder how often they will be killing, because they will need more food as the pride get bigger. This is one of the females. You can tell she's being a little bit active than the others. She's rolling around. And I'm hoping maybe later on in the evening they will be able to take us to where the cubs are. I know where the 4 cubs are, but I don't want to go there without the mother, because I know for sure they are hidden, so they won't come out. There's no need to go there. I will wait until maybe the female goes there, then I'll go and show them to you. This long grass is ideal for these great cats, because it's good for ambushing, it's good for keeping off, other animals from detecting where they are. So it is perfect. It is perfect for these lions. Yes, these guys are still quite lazy over here. I'm hoping they're going to get active. So let me send you to Jamie, who's looking for the same kind.
Thank you, Isaac. Thank you very much indeed. We could do with all the luck being sent our side. Look, Hosanna has a way of showing up for TV shows. It's as though he knows that we need him. He arrives at our time of need. But what I'm doing is I'm not even trying to search for Hosanna. The tracking now today is going to be next to impossible. So I'm just driving around hoping that I'm going to bump into something. Might get lucky. Hukumuri might decide all his scent marks have been washed away. But really what I'm doing is looking for a concentration of hyena tracks going backwards and forwards from an area. The only way we're going to find this den, I think, is either with a drone, a drag mark of a kill, because of course Corky will take food back to the den, as we know, or following Corky or Pretty into the den itself. It's moved from Little Gowrie. I don't know if it's moved back here. I checked the dens last night during the rehearsal. Emma knows why I'm laughing. I had one of those moments where I was going into an ad break. It was my first segment in this practice run, and we get counted into an ad break, and we have to hit it fairly on the mark, because otherwise it doesn't fit in with the ads for TV. So about 40 seconds to go, I choked on my own spit, and I was trying desperately to not cough, but when you get that kind of tickle that the more you talk, the more it tickles, the more you cough, and I couldn't contain it, and then I started to giggle. I just lost it, because the hilarity of the situation hit me at around about 15 seconds to go, at which point Emma then started to giggle as she was giving me the countdown, and Seb joined in just for good measure. So all 3 of us were giggling away frantically while Emma's trying to count me into the practice ad break. And sort of going 10, 9. It was very funny. We were proper giggling Gerties. That's what's known as corpsing. We corpsed. Oh, I corpsed. I was the one who was doing all the talking. I corpsed quite spectacularly. We did. I haven't corpsed like that in a very long time. What a weird turn of phrase. Where does that come from? Is it I'm sorry that you all missed it. It was hilarious. Maybe one day I know Seb didn't record it. He said he thought it was hilarious, but afterwards he expressed deep regret that he hadn't recorded it. But maybe one day it'll make it into a blooper reel. Emma says that corpsing comes from Shakespearean plays, or she thinks. Hyena tracks? No hyena tracks, no leopard tracks. Ah, Emma said that it is on 3Play, so you never know. It might make it into one of our blooper reels one day. Me trying to get the words "we'll see you after the break" out of while I was giggling hysterically. And I started to laugh so hard that I started to cry. It was horrendous. Well, everything about it just exuded professionalism. No, definitely not ideal when the ad break's only 2 minutes long and Emma wanted to come out with me. She eventually abandoned me and went to someone else. So hey, I hope that makes an appearance one day so you can watch it. We watched it twice this morning in review. I have no animals for you. There's no tracks. There's no hyena tracks. I really thought I'd get lucky here. I haven't got lucky. Oh, I have to admit, it drew my attention earlier this afternoon, but I didn't comment on it. Perhaps James has more insight into the brightness of his jacket this afternoon.
We don't want to talk about my jacket. What we will talk about is a surprise we have for you. Can you get the bird? This is up a bit. There, to the left now. There. Well done, David. Now, this is not why we've stopped here, everybody. We've stopped here because we've found a kill that Kachava made. Now, she's not at the kill, as far as we can tell. We will go back there and have a look, but I'm wondering if perhaps she hasn't gone to fetch her little babies. And that would be special. She's got 2 cubs, apparently. They'd be roughly 3 months old now, which means they're about the right age to come to a kill. Those are Retz's helmet shrikes, giving that eagle a bit of a hard time. And it is a Wahlberg's eagle, and I wonder if it's not a Wahlberg's eagle from this year. I wonder if it's not a new one. You see how it has got that mottled sort of feathering. Retz's helmet shrikes are really quite beautiful when they sit still. It's quite gorgeous, David, is it not? In the background, you can hear the Diederik's cuckoo. I think these are beautiful birds, and I just think that that sky behind is so atmospheric. Oh, and hopped. Right, let's go a little bit forward. See if we can get another view. I will take you to the kill as well, promise, at some stage. Oh, they're 2. Maybe they're not babies. They're both very odd colours, though. Can you see them, Dov? How's that? One of them's just flown off. Oh, gosh, I've parked you beautifully, haven't I? One of them flew off and it had an almost completely white head. That's a grey-headed bushshrike you can hear. nice. The sky is fairly ominous, as many of you are commenting, but it's not too bad. I think it's quite atmospheric. I think the combination of the bird, the green of these false marula trees, and the eagle are just wonderful. Oh, I must just tell you, I told you a lie earlier by mistake. The baboons that we were watching were not, in fact, sitting in a brown ivory tree. We were sitting quite far away from it, so that's my excuse. It was, in fact, a false marula tree like these ones here. I do apologise for lying to you. I promise you it wasn't on purpose. All right, let's go and see if we can find the leopard kill. It's just down here. Whoop. We did find a ditch. Let's go back to David and look at his giraffe while I fix David's back.
Thank you, James. And a while back, it's such a beautiful eagle to watch. And we got a huge male giraffe just striding very stately, even very majestically in the Mara Triangle or in the Mara Savannah. Wonderful light. And it has already been said, when giraffes walk, they seem to move two legs of one side at the same time. Can you show us that, Bungay? See that? Two. At the same time, two and two, you know. And I've always, said to myself, I think all animals may do that, but I think it's more conspicuous to the giraffes. It's more clear as he is crossing the road and finding out, maybe asking the viewers, why do they think that particular giraffe crossed the road? And my guess is for a few reasons, either to go catch up with other giraffes on the other side, or for some other reasons. I would not know why he crossed the road. I'm sure the viewers can tell us why this Maasai giraffe crossed the road. Hitchhiking on him, a few oxpeckers. You can see some birds right on his backbone, up and down on the ground, and trying to weave through the mane on her neck. Thank you, Bungay, for showing us that. And those are the oxpeckers. They could either be yellow-billed oxpeckers or red-billed oxpeckers. And they got very sharp beaks, and they use the beaks like scissors. Sometimes they tend to cut the fur and access any ticks or mites on these huge or tallest mammals that we got in the world. On the other side, we've got some impalas. Awakening, what animal would I say represent my personality? Well, let me think. I don't have to think. Either I'll say an elephant because I love elephants. Awakening, I would say for me, anytime the elephant. I don't know what Bungay would say about that. Bungay, what do you think? What's the animal that represents your personality, Bungay? Rhino? Which one did you say, Bungay? Well, Awakening, my cameraman here, Bungay, is my camera operator today, and Bungay says a rhino. I'm not sure why he says a rhino. I'll ask him when he go back to the camp later today why he thinks it should be a rhino. But for me, Awakening, I would say any time an elephant. One, very intelligent animals, and the things they do show a lot of empathy in them, a lot of emotions in them, a lot of, intelligence, as I said, very bright, big animals. And they relate to human beings in so many ways. The times when it gets very dry and rivers dry, springs or any water point will dry, elephants have been known to dig water, and after them drinking, they'll make sure all other animals benefit. And across on the other side, near that bush, we have lots of other antelopes. Marcus, very good question. I'd like to know if the giraffes are strictly vegetarian. I would say yes. I mean, I haven't seen giraffe eat anything else, but Marcus, I'd like you to know there we have, for the vegetarians or for the herbivores, we divide them into two. We divide them into browsers and to grazers. Like those zebras you see there, Marcus, we would call them grazers. They tend basically to deal on the grass. Not sure where they're heading to, but they're heading to the direction of the Mara River. Now, Marcus, looking at giraffes giraffes, we call them browsers. Browsers in the sense that they tend to browse, they tend to eat anything on top, nothing on the ground, as much as we see sometimes giraffes spreading their legs out and feeding on the ground, but not grass entirely, but any small plants, any small herbs they get, they'll be picking the leaves. But in general, you'll always see them eating on trees. So I would say, in short, giraffes are 100% vegetarians. All right, Marcus, that makes sense. What we want to do now is to move this small little baby zebra here. I don't know why she's not joining the rest. She's pretty young. Rosalind, good question. How the fastest giraffes can run? Difficult question. I might give a very quick answer and say maybe 40, 50 kilometers an hour. But my other concern with that kind of speed, Rosalind, I'm giving you is at what terrain will it do that? You know, at what kind of vegetation will the giraffe cover that speed, maybe per kilometer? So it's a very vague answer I'm giving you, because unlike other animals that we have been able to domesticate, for example, Rosalind, cheetahs, they have been domesticated and they have been put in open flat areas and given a chase, and roughly you can have an idea on the speed. But nobody has been able to domesticate giraffes. So it becomes very difficult to give a speed. But anything 50, 60 kilometers an hour, I would say it would make sense as a speed of a giraffe. But again, the hills, the rocks, the mountains, and other encumbrance on their way as they run. Well, I think we've been looking for hyenas this afternoon as much as I had not said that's my plan. But I think Lauren could be having some or one.
I got a hyena, and it's pretty. It is Pretty, the hyena, who I have not seen in a very, very long time. So let's just see if Seb can get a good view of her. Hopefully she's not going to disappear from us. Okay, we have our rain roof on, so this is where it becomes a little bit tricky. Now, hyenas can mean lots of things, especially at this time. She's just crossed over into Torchwood, and I am wondering if she is possibly heading to the den. I don't know, obviously. Right, she's just up ahead. I'm just gonna give her space. Hey, Pretty, you're so pretty. Oh, I'm so happy to see her, honestly. I know that sounds really crazy, but from going to see these hyenas every single day to not seeing them at all, I think this might be the furthest we can follow her at the moment. She has gone on to Torchwood. I will. Emma, can we follow Pretty on to Torchwood? I'm just checking to see if we can follow her, because if she leads us to the den, this is going to be a huge moment for us. Okay. Yeah, I think we're going to lose our... Oh. But you know, this would make sense, actually. I'm running through everything in my head, because this is where we've been seeing the hyenas, and we have thought... Pretty, where have you gone? We have thought that she was at... They were back on Juma in sort of the southern boundary Leadwood area. But this would make sense if they've actually denned on the southern boundary of Torchwood area. The mystery is slowly unraveling. So that wasn't the best side thing we could have ever given you, but it was Pretty, 100%. And it was just so wonderful to see her again. I'm just keeping my eyes over here. She was walking at a rather fast pace. Okay, well, it brings us further ahead in our mystery. Emma has just said we can go into Torchwood, but I have lost sight of her. Okay. Let's see if we can find her again. Pretty, please come back. Now, she wandered off this way. This is the only the only indication I have of where she may be. So Seb is also looking out for her because it's going to be a good moment if we are able to locate this den once and for all. Linda's saying woohoo. Yes, I agree. Woohoo. This would be... oh, I just stalled. Fabulous. The ground's very uneven here. Yes, Linda, woohoo, that would be some moment. So what I'm scanning for is obviously Pretty herself, but potential termite mounds, because I don't think they're far into Torchwood because of where we've been seeing them and where we've been seeing tracks. I think they could just be on the boundary here, and there's a big termite mound over here, and that's why we've been thinking that they have potentially moved back to Juma. This would make a lot of sense. Can you see her, Seb? No, yeah, we're going to go and check out this termite mound. This one looks a bit too small for a hyena den. Yes, this really would, because we've been talking about it every day, and it's honestly not for our lack of trying. Myself, Jamie, Seb, Davy, we've all been really, really looking for potential den sites. This mound is definitely big enough, but I don't see any hyenas. Pretty, where did you go? Lauren is asking, has anyone seen or heard of June's babies? And no, we're at the termite mound and it's not looking positive. Okay, let me just reverse a little bit. No, I don't believe they have. Since our hyenas have disappeared from us, we have had very, very, very little information. We did get information that they were on Little Gowrie, and we actually got a photo. It's always good to get photo to make sure you've got that evidence. And we saw Corky and we saw Pretty with the cubs, so we know that they definitely moved, but that's the only information we've had. I've not heard anything about June. So sorry, Lauren, but it would be great news if we were able to locate her, and of course, there being cubs. Okay, I'm a bit stuck on where to look now, as Pretty has disappeared, but we may check this area. Oh, Seb. Okay. Okay, Seb thinks he's... Where? Okay. Okay, Seb sees something. Oh, yeah, I see her. Well spotted, Seb. Yeah, okay, we've got her again. She's coming towards us, so we're just going to pull up and actually see where she goes. Can I stop? Yeah, okay. Right, let's take a look at her. It is so good to see you again. Very recognisable from that notch in her left ear. The colour of her coat is very fawn, it's very orange. It's quite actually unusual compared to the rest of the hyenas. Okay, she's avoiding us again. But it is definitely her, for those that do know Pretty. She's actually taking us in a circle here. So we're going to keep following her just in case she takes us to this den. This is normally the time of day where actually the hyenas do go back to the den. Now, obviously, it's not your normal kind of day, weather-wise. Okay. So yes, it's not your normal day weather-wise, but she is of you. What are you doing? Are you having a little scratch? Perfect. So while we stay with Pretty here, we are going to send you across to James, who I think has an eagle.
Hello everybody, here we are with a juvenile battalier. Now if you look carefully at his head, I think he looks a little bit like he's wearing chainmail. You know those pictures you see of a knight just before he puts his helmet on? I think that's what he looks like. A bit ridiculous. About to go into battle. Now he's sitting here because we're close to Kuchava's kill. We've gone past it again. We've had a look. She's not there. We are still kind of perusing the area, seeing if she's around. I suspect that the reason there are no other vehicles anywhere near us at the moment is because they have been looking here and she hasn't pitched up, unfortunately. We are going to keep going for it because, of course, we do have a TV show coming up, and it would be rather good that if we had some, leopard content for it. Mariki, yes, certainly the new cubs would have started eating meat, absolutely. In fact, they'll be starting to wean now at 12 weeks old. And so, well, one would expect them to be coming to the kill, and I'm just wondering if she hasn't gone off to fetch them, because that would be very, very special. No, it's always quite difficult to tell. You know what? There's another raptor calling just off to the left-hand side of where we're sitting, and it's making a big noise. And I think what we need to do is go and look there, because I think it's alarm calling. That's something. It's just in that direction there. Let's go and see. David's just putting our picnic away. He was in charge of our picnic. And, well, he's obviously on rations for some reason. I'm not sure why. Anyway, let's go back to Lauren. She has got Pretty, which is very exciting, and hopefully she will lead Lauren to a den. There's the other bird.
So we are still following Pretty. We're just staying far back, don't worry. And she's actually just picked up the pace. It's almost as if she hears Emma say live, live in her beautiful voice, and she decides to run. We can still see her though. Yeah, she's still up ahead. And actually, we were just saying, it might not be the den she's taking us to. It could potentially be a carcass or a kill or anything else. But she's definitely on a mission. So it's completely worth following her. So I'm just trying to keep my eyes on her as much as possible at the minute. I don't want her to escape us. She just did a complete circle. He's having a little sniff around. I'm just going to turn off, yeah. Hey, beautiful girl, where are you going? She's really on a mission. Okay, it's time to follow her again. I cannot explain to you how happy it would make me if we found this den. I cannot begin to tell you. I would love to know how all the cubs are doing, how everybody's doing. Jenna is asking, can Pretty be pregnant if she still has cubs? I think at this stage her cubs are going to be about 4 to 5 months maximum. So I think they're far too young for Pretty to be pregnant just yet. Okay, sorry, I just need to try and get around to keeping my eye on her. She crossed over.
Yeah.
Onto Chitwa. Okay, let's see if we can find her. So no luck with the den. But still, she might take us somewhere. Hyenas are never just wandering, they're always on a mission somewhere. So they could potentially take us to a leopard. She ran, she went in here. Oh, Pretty, where have you gone? Well, at least we got a glimpse of her. No! And Pretty's very accustomed to cars. Oh, there's lots of hyena tracks going down here as well.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, she did definitely cross over. And you know, there's lots of termite mounds here too, so could potentially also... Yeah. And the rain started again. Fabulous. It's been a rather wet day for me. this time I'm more prepared. Okay, so she... is that her?
Yeah.
Okay. Forget what I was just about to say. Pretty is up ahead on the road. Right, walking along the road, and it's ideal when animals walk on the road because you can track them, you can see them, and it's easy to follow them. It gets tricky when they start going through all the vegetation. Now we're driving right into the rain, which is joyous. Good, give a bit of space. Oh. She's climbing up an embankment now and disappeared. Completely gone. And we can't get across because there's a rather large log in front. Okay. We're going to turn around. She's in there somewhere and see if we can keep trying to follow our pretty girl.
Here I am, and it is very exciting because in front of me is all the cubs, lionesses, and the big male, and I think they're looking for water right here. So I'm gonna go and park and then wait for them to come close. It is quite a sight. I'm hoping to give you the picture right now. Just hold on there, don't go anywhere. I'm looking for the big male. He's here, he's drinking. Yeah, he's here. Yeah, he's here, he's drinking. There he is. He's drinking some water. And the others are coming here for a drink also. So we're just gonna wait it here and see what's gonna happen. He's right there. This is one of the Oldonyo Payek males. He's the one male with one testicle. Sorry for the language, but that's the truth. He's got only one, and we know him for that. Yeah, the other one has got two that are joined, and we know them for that. They are two quite rather very unique males, and you know he's there, and he's gonna be there for the next like 2-3 minutes, lapping water. It's rather hard, you know, using just a tongue to drink. So they'll go on and on and on and on and on. And some more are coming. So just wait. They're coming. Where are they? Can you see them? No, they've headed out. Sorry. And actually, I can see some young cubs, very young cubs. I don't know how many. I see one. Yeah, they're quite a distance. We'll show you those. Yeah, let's stick with this guy who's drinking first. Yeah, this is, you know, a fully grown male. He's got his eyes closed and he's enjoying his drink. He's been out in the open the whole day, and so, you know, a drink of cold water is very quenching, and he will drink, you know, for a bit longer. Yeah, I can't wait to see him stand up, and you can see the size of him. He is a massive male. So just chill there. Don't go anywhere. Remember, this is coming to you live.
Why do lions have so many flies on Natty?
Natty, you say they have so many flies. I think being out in the open in the day does give out an odor. And so these flies are attracted to that. And that's why they are there. And also, you know, they are also very thirsty, so they're trying to suck whatever they can get from the skin of the lion. When he's lying down in the grass, he does maybe produce some sweat, or get the ground wet, so they come and get that moisture from the hairs from the skin. That's why they've got all these flies. In the face, I would say they come to eat off bits of meat that have been left there, maybe blood. Yeah, he's going on. He's still drinking. He's very busy. Yeah, I saw him from a distance heading this way. We didn't know exactly what he was going to do, but this is what he's doing. Yeah, he's still lapping the water. Yeah. Just gonna reposition slightly more, so we can have a better view when he stands up. Yeah, we're gonna be, I think that's better over there. Yeah. Sorry, it's right into the sun, but I hope you're getting a good picture. This is the best we can do. It's wet in front of me, and can you hear how he's lapping the water? Everything he does is in big quantities. He eats a lot, he drinks a lot when he gets it, because he doesn't know. Let's see him stand up. Oh, I thought you're gonna stand up and look at me. Oh, look at him. Wow, beautiful. Look at him. You can see he's headed out. He's hard enough. Is he gonna lie there and wait and then drink some more later? Wow, look at how full he is and how big he is. He's a good 220 kilos. Bloom. Yeah. See how hard it is if you didn't know he was there, to know that he's there. Now he's gonna rest there. Maybe after another 1 hour, then he's gonna come back and take some more, then head out. And then he will go for maybe even 10 days without drinking, even more if he's forced to. And then, when he finds where there's water again, he's gonna drink. Beautiful. He's a good 200 kilos, which is around 400 pounds. And there are two of them. At the moment, I see one. I'm thinking the other one is not very far, because about 5 days ago, I saw them and they were not far off from this area. So I'm thinking the other guy is not very far off. He is much bigger than his other brother. He's got a darker mane than his brother. And the only way we identify him is the way I told you earlier. And you see, he's got nothing to worry about. He's so healthy. Yeah, he's super. He's just one of those big lions that, everybody wants to see. See how he's hidden there. He's gone plumb and you cannot see him. He's hiding there. You cannot believe there is a big male lion there. Just, there. It's there, but we cannot see it. Yeah, he's there actually. Yeah, even James couldn't find him with a super powerful lens. See this tummy breathing? Yeah, I'm gonna leave him. Let me send you to Jamie and see what he's looking for.
All right, have a look at the miserable view in a second. I'll get you there. Hold on. It's back. We had about an hour's worth of respite from the weather. Let me tilt us up a bit. Oh, that didn't work out so well, but never mind. You can get the idea with a nice artistic dead tree. Sorry, my bad. Taking my foot off the brake. Here comes the rain again. It's amazing how it gives everything an extra layered look. I wish there was a leopard in it somewhere. There is a leopard somewhere there. Can guarantee it. We just haven't found it. I'm really excited though for Lauren. I really, really am. I hope she succeeds in her mission of following Pretty. It is not fun following a hyena off-road for a couple of reasons. One, they're not used to it. Nobody really follows them. So they get a bit disconcerted. And two, they don't stroll. Hyenas trot. Oh dear, Craig, I can still hear the generator, which means we are definitely not getting power back in the course of the next few hours. It is Sunday. The power went out, I don't know, sometime around 3, 4 in the morning this morning, and we haven't seen it back since. And the generator, of course, keeps our broadcast stuff going, but very little else. So none of us have had showers. Well, I haven't had a shower. Craig managed this morning. I haven't had a shower because where I am at Inga's, the water pump runs off electricity. So unless I wanted to try and shower in a drip, there was no way it was going to work. Could be worse though. Could be poor Tristan, whose neck is frozen in a spasm. He woke up that way. So we are powerless in many senses of the word. Powerless to find leopards, powerless in general. Luckily, the Mara team has been on it from the start.
Miss Niconico. Well, very good. We got some different, apart from the lions, we got some hornbill here. I'm not sure he's coming towards where we are. I'm saying it's a he because I'm looking at the wattle below his neck and there's no blue in it. If it's a female, then what you see there would be a little smaller. That ballooning thing below his neck would be a little smaller, and there'd be a bit of purplish, bluish color. So, because it doesn't have that, this is definitely a male, and this is the southern ground hornbill, and either is tearing apart some poo of an elephant, and is definitely looking for either beetles or something like that in it to feed on. It's the largest hornbill we got in Africa. Look at the size of that beak. Because we know the digestion of elephants is not very good, not very efficient on what they eat. We have known them to eat beetles. They come out through the system still alive, and I'm sure that is what he is looking for. You know, clean your beak. Well done, you better. And interesting, anytime, even when they seem to have shut their beak, there's a huge open space there, like the open bill stocks. Monogamous bats always going a male and a female together, unless when they have young ones. Remember, your comments or questions are very welcome. #SafariLive on Twitter. I would say, looking at the IUCN Red List, this bird have been listed as quite vulnerable or very endangered. I'm talking of losing a lot of their habitat, because you have seen people logging and bringing down huge trees which they need to nest on. They prefer very long, very solid and big trees to build their nests, and very old trees at the same time. And unfortunately, the same trees are very good for furniture or for constructions of buildings. Very clean bird, I would say. It eats in as much as to get a lot of dung on the beak. It very quickly cleans himself. Where is your partner? Because I would guess you're not alone. As I said, very unusual to see them on their own. And my guess is he is only swallowing some kind of insects, not the poo of the ellie. Very clean, very good table manners, and I'm sure he's using his feet like a napkin just to clean his mouth, and now cleaning it even better, a better tough napkin. I think the first one was much softer. This shows how clean you are, Mr. Hornbill. I'm surprised you are alone, and I would guess you could be having, time to have a poo break. Good side, I agree with you. They look very intelligent. Look at how he was feeding. He opens up the dung, and he knows exactly where to get the beetles, because definitely the beetles will be right inside the dung. Feeds very quickly, but it, of course, in the process coincider of swallowing the insect, he get a bit of dung, on his beak. He definitely uses his toes to clean himself, and what does not come out, he uses small little bushes or plants to even clean himself better. Whoops! Why did you jump there? What did you see? Something maybe he was not very sure of. The other challenge about these hornbills, once they mate and the females, they lay the eggs, it takes about 3 years or so to raise their young ones. And they have what we call corporate breeding, where you get other members of the family raising the young ones. Trish, how big is the wingspan of this hornbill? I would guess could be anything about 3 feet. 3 feet when they're all spread out. So that's pretty large. And as much as you see him on the ground, Trish, they do fly. They do fly. And they spend most of the time on the ground. And as a result, that suggests their name, ground hornbills. And once they're done, once they're full, you see them in flight, and they have white feathers or white wings or white windows when in flight, and they'll spend the rest of the night on top of trees. Let me see if I can turn around and find out where he's hiding. And as I'm turning around, we'll take you back to Isaac with his lions.
Yes, I am back to the carcass, and as I told you, there is still plenty of meat along the chest, along the neck, and they knew that, and they are back to claim that last bit of meat. They just arrived here. As you can tell, they're still arriving. All the 5 females are within. The male, I've left him drinking water quite a distance, and the 3 older cubs are here. It looks like the majority of the pride is here. The only missing is 1 male and the 4 little cubbies, the new ones, the additional to the sausage tree pride. They just walked quite a distance from where they are. I thought they were going to go for a drink, but they changed their mind. Sometimes it's really hard, even being very experienced, to pick up exactly what's going to happen the next minute, because they really looked like they wanted to go drink. Then all of a sudden they changed the direction they were headed, and they headed here. They just arrived to where there's carcass. Marky, you say if they will not get sick. I would say they have amazing bacteria in their tummies, so everything will be, all the germs will be destroyed. I've never seen a sick lion from eating a carcass. I have seen a sick lion from infections, wounds, but not, like from internal disease. That is another female coming from a distance, so looks like they're all here. Yes, so, they won't, it hasn't rotted, because you can imagine it's only been around how many hours? I think maybe even 20 hours, it's not 24. So, when they open it up, this is when you're going to see that. It's still going to be very fresh, very red. Megan, you ask if it's normal for females to guard a carcass. Yes, if the males are not present, females will take turns to guard the carcass. So it is normal for them to do this, and especially where there is no shade. When there's shade, when they put it in the shade, actually very few animals will come and fly underneath the tree because they're just afraid of the big canopy of the tree. They prefer open areas where they can take off quite fast, especially vultures, so they will avoid it. In these areas like this, they will try and guard it as much as possible. I don't know why they're all looking around. There's really, the young ones are looking around. I don't know what they're looking. I think they're looking at the vultures in the trees. That's what they're looking at. That's what I would say, because there's nothing to worry them. These are the 3 cubs that are young. The two to the right are 5 months. The one to the left is 4 months. He was born with his brother that unfortunately died at a very young age. I hope this young guy makes it so that, that litter is not lost. Immortality rate is still quite high until they're about 2 years lions. So even now, there is no insurance that he will survive to adulthood. There is another lioness there, and I don't know what she's looking at. I'm going to take my binoculars and have a look. She's keenly looking down there. I don't know what she sees. They have amazing eyesight, and sometimes I have to use my binoculars to actually see what they're looking at. At this moment, I don't see, but that intense look tells me, there could be something that, she had seen, but, you can tell she's losing interest by blinking, by, breathing with his mouth open. Yes, I'll send you to Tristan, who's got an intense looking eagle. Enjoy it.
Well, that was a very hectic following of Pretty, but we are glad you're back with us. We lost some communications and, of course, we lost Pretty. But we have found a pretty bird. Now, this is probably one of the largest birds of prey I have seen out here, and I want to see if any of you can actually identify which bird this is, because I have not came across this bird on a live drive before. It is absolutely massive. Seb's just going to give you a bit of a wider view of it, and you can really see how big that bird is just on top of the dead tree here. So let's see if any of you can tell us exactly what it is using the hashtag SafariLive. So while we wait on some of your amazing answers, we will update you. Pretty just completely disappeared from us, but we believe she was really on the scent of some sort of carcass. The way she was behaving, it was becoming quite erratic and frantic. She was sniffing constantly, and she was kind of moving in loops. So we were really thinking, what is she doing? Is she trying to evade us? And obviously she wasn't. She was just picking up on the scent, moving around, getting a sniff, maybe going this way, thinking, no, it's coming from the east, it's coming from the west, and she left us. So indeed, at least I kind of have an update on the mystery of the hyenas. I do believe they could be on the southern boundary of Torchwood. That is where we are getting a lot of hyena activity. So that's our next mission for the next few days. Tomorrow morning, I probably will follow up on that and see if we can possibly locate this den. Now, I wonder if any of you have managed to ID this bird for us. Sean is saying a Marshall Eagle, okay. I wonder if we have any other before we dive into it. It is very, very big. And of course we also have the Egyptian geese here. Now, we did see them live the other day, and you can see there's 4 little goslings. How cute are they? But unfortunately, it is sad to say there was 6 the other day, and now there only appears to be 4. So I hate to think what might have happened, but these 2 geese have lost. I'm just turning the game drive radio down. They have obviously lost some gosling. So someone suggested a juvenile fish eagle. I can't remember what the name was. So that's 2 suggestions. We have a Marshall eagle and we have a juvenile fish eagle. David suggested the juvenile fish eagle. Well, it is very difficult. It's really not the easiest bird that I've came across to identify. But I do believe we have here a juvenile Marshall eagle. So you can see it's quite fluffy. It looks like it needs a good brush with a hairbrush or a comb. And that's usually... It was getting attacked. Oh, look at its face. What's attacking it? I can't quite catch what it is. Oh, can you hear that? Look at the way it's just gripping on with its claws. Talons. I'm not able to get quite a look at exactly which bird is attacking it, but it's not happy. This juvenile martial eagle is here. Lots of bird noises. I think that other bird flew off. Yes, Emma, I'm glad you can hear. That is a whole lot of noise and alarm calling. Oh, I think it's worth staying in this area for a little while and see exactly what is going on. Well, that other bird that was doing the attacking has disappeared. But it was very small. I'm not sure I would be so brave enough to go for this juvenile martial eagle. It's amazing how strong the smaller birds can be. It's like they have no fear. We regularly see small birds, especially drongos, attacking the much larger birds of prey. So before that attack, I was saying how fluffy this bird kind of looks. It looks like it has its juvenile plumage, and it looks like it needs a good brush. Child of the Universe is asking, why does the bird not go for the goslings? And that is a good question. It could potentially do that. You see the size of the bird and the size of the talons earlier. But obviously the parents are with the goslings here, and they are definitely missing too, because it could have easily have been from a bird of prey. So for these two adult Egyptian geese, it's not going to be easy to protect these little goslings. They are very vulnerable, and every time we drive past this little water hole, they're just going across from side to side to side to side with the adults. So Egyptian geese can be very violent. They can be very ferocious. So I imagine this juvenile martial eagle would take on quite a beating from these two Egyptian geese if it was to try and come down and get a little gosling. They would be fiercely protected by the adults. And it could also potentially not be so hungry right now, but it is just sitting there watching over the water hole. And it blends in really well with the surroundings. How adorable are these little goslings? Oh, they're so cute. And of course the survival rate is not so high. Not many of them, maybe not all of them, will make it.
It's that bird that was attacking him.
Oh, was this the attacker?
I think so.
Oh. So we're having a bit of a bird party over here. Seems to be looking for something in the water. And the alarm calls are still going. I feel like I've walked in on a bird event. Oh, aren't you just stunning? What a beautiful, beautiful bird of prey. You blend in very well with that tree there. I'm glad you're all enjoying seeing this lovely bird. It was a perfect find after the bumbling around after Pretty. It was not the easiest thing to follow her, but at least we've had a lead on where they could potentially be. So, of course, it is time to begin wrapping up today's drive, and we do apologise for all the technical difficulties that we did have today. But stay tuned with us, bear with us, and join us tomorrow for the sunrise safari at the normal time of 5 a.m. Thank you for all your comments and questions from all of us here at Safari Live.